everybody. This is Ray Weirs with Calliope Games, and thank you for joining me today. Um, Thank you for joining us and everybody here at the Alliance Open House, Digital Open House. Um, Joining me on the YouTube channel is Chris Leader, our Director of Fun, and also Risa Patron, who is um, our social jockey. And she's new to our team, but somebody that you're going to get to know quite a bit if you are going back and forth with us on Facebook or Twitter and even Instagram. So um, please welcome Risa. We're really happy to have her with us. Today we're going to go over where Calliope is at in 2020 and some of the great things we have planned for 2021. And with that, let me get this started here. So I'm going to need to share my screen, and of course, I went and hit it instead of actually sharing it. But here we go. All right, so the Alliance Open House. We are very happy to be here, and we're very glad to have you joining us. It's difficult times for all of us, and having you share this time with us, and hopefully afterwards, if you go onto Discord, we can chat a little bit about how things are going in your store and how COVID's actually been affecting you. And we can talk about how it's affected us and our endurance to keep pushing on. But thank you very much for joining us. So like I was saying earlier, I'm Ray Weirs. I'm actually the president of Calliope Games, and we have joining us in the YouTube chat, again, Chris Leader and Risa Patron, our social disc jockey. And so thank you very much, and we're looking forward to showing you what we're going to be doing. So today's agenda, we're going to be talking about temporarily out of stock items. We're going to talk about what's new, holiday impulse sales, right? 2021 sneak peek, and then also our show special. Now, temporarily out of stock items. So in February, COVID-19 actually hit us pretty hard, and our factories were not able to produce some of our top selling games. Sorrow, Roll For It, and Ship Shape have all been out of stock since February. The good news is that you are going to be able to order all of them from Alliance, anticipated on October 10th. I will tell you that Sorrow is already shipped. Roll For It arrives tomorrow, and I believe Ship Shape is actually shipping to Alliance either tomorrow or on Monday. So those are some of our top selling games, and we've been out of them for quite a while. So I'm really excited to have them back in stock. And if you need any help on ordering those, please reach out to your Alliance rep. But also, if you go to the Discord channel, we have our catalog there in the Calliope Games booth. If you click on the image or on the barcode within the catalog, it'll automatically take you to the Alliance ordering page. So you'll be able to order directly on your account from that link. So let's talk about some new stuff. That would be Station Masters. Now, Station Master, I have to tell you, I absolutely love this game. It's one of the best jab your neighbor games. I mean, wait a second. It's one of the best interactive games that are out there. If you like messing with other players, like I do, you're going to love this game. I love this game so much that it took me 3 years to get it from my friends over at Mayfair Games. And many of you know that I was at Mayfair for about a year, a little over a year. And during that time, Station Master had become close to my heart, and there were some things that I was disappointed and knew that if they were corrected, the game would actually just be a great game to have in the catalog. So that's what we actually did. So Station Master, it entertains 2 to 6 players, like all Calliope games, ages 8 and up. It plays in about 30 to 50 minutes, depending on the number of players, and it will retail for $25. Now, so what are some of the changes that we actually made to the game? So there's new art. We have upgraded components. We have updated mechanics. And between all of it, the experience that you have is just way, way more fun. So when I say new art, what do I mean? Well, what I mean is we have drastically changed the art, and it's all brand new, and it's absolutely beautiful. All the cards were actually hand painted by Andy Hepworth. There are 9 steam locomotives, 13 rail cars, and there's numerous scenes of the hustle and bustle of the train stations back in the day. So um, the beauty of the game when it's laying on the table and how it captivates your attention is just unbelievable. Um, to help it along, we also upgraded the components. So if you're familiar with the Mayfair presentation of the game, it was very simplistic in everything that it was in the way that it was done. The chips that are used for actually betting, the actual box, the rules, everything was very, very simple in nature. And we've gone to take that to the opposite extreme. So the passenger chips are now wooden pawns and they actually stand up. The cards are all very heavy duty. They're 350 GSM playing cards, and they have a linen finish on them. They shuffle absolutely wonderfully, and they hold their shape, and it's just a great quality game. Um, the rule set is in full color with all the illustrations. There's now a PVC tray that is specifically made for the box, and it holds the pawns and the cards in place. And the cover art itself will present just absolutely gorgeous on your shelf. So um, updated mechanics. Uh, if you're familiar with the game, you'll know that when you place your bets, that you used to have flat, small poker chips. And we now are using these 3-dimensional pawns. And the value of the pawns are printed on the face. Um, and the advantage to this is that when you play the pawns, you're actually laying them down on the cards. And so when you're looking at for the value of the pawns that you have available to you, when they're standing up, you can easily see them and you're not messing and fiddling with chips. And so it makes the actual experience of placing your bets, if you will, or putting your passengers on each of the locomotives much easier. Um, so that's one of the improvements that we made. Another improvement that we made in the actual game is the depot. Now the depot is brand new to the game, and it helps players stay competitive in a game where multipliers are used for scoring. Potential runaway trains no longer mean runaway scores, which is really, really awesome. So gameplay. How do you actually play? Um, the first thing that'll happen is you're going to try to earn as many points, efficiency points as possible by making sure that the trains leave on time and with all your passengers, right? Each player is dealt 3 cards, a depot card, and they receive 6 pawns, all of the same color. The number of locomotives equal to the number of players is displayed in the center of the table, and that's going to be the actual station. The locomotives, there are several types. There's 3 different types. There's the standard locomotive, the executive class, and there's a freight locomotive. But they all operate in the same basic manner. The number that is actually on the locomotive states 2 things. The first thing it does is it tells you how many rail cars that particular train can carry. It will also tell you how many passenger pawns it can hold. So that number on the locomotive serves as 2 purposes. Again, the number of rail cars and the number of passengers both. Now, on your turn, you're going to do one of 2 things, right? You will play a rail card on a locomotive, or you'll play a passenger. You only have those 2 options. Now, you're going to have 3 cards in your hand to choose from, and you're going to have all the pawns in front of you to choose from. So you do have some decisions to make when playing the game. And having one or the other to do actually really makes each decision that you apply in the game very important. So passengers are always placed face down on the pawn, or face down on the locomotives, so that your opponents cannot see what the value is. All aboard! Once the locomotive has the maximum amount of rail cars attached to it, it will actually leave the station. The number of passengers that are on the locomotive or on the train have no bearing on whether or not it departs. When the train departs, its value is immediately determined by adding up all the values of the rail cars. The locomotive is not included in the value of the train, and in this case, the value of the train is 5. Once you have the value of the locomotive determined, the train determined, then you're going to reveal all the passengers. So everybody will flip over the passengers. To determine the score, you simply multiply the sum of your passengers times the train's value. So in this case, purple is equal to a -5, right? So the 5 times the -1. The yellow is 25, red is 15, and then the brown is 5. Now, those negative pawns are really, really interesting because, as you remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. So in the game, if you have a train that actually has a negative value, and you're able to put your negative pawn down on there when everybody else may be getting hit with negatives, you may have a positive score if you're using your -1 properly. So if doing all the math is something that is not in your strength, right, of things that you like to be doing when you're playing games, we do have the scoring app. It's absolutely free. You can download it from the iOS and for the Android both. And it's really, really simple to use. And one of the wonderful things about it is you can actually, up in the right-hand corner there, you'll notice that there's a little whistle there. You can actually blow that whistle during the game and actually hear the locomotives as they leave the station. So that's a lot of fun. You can thank Mr. Chris Leader for that, right? Now, player interaction. That is one thing that this game does really, really well. In other words, you get to poke at your friends all game. So it's and it's chock full of it. So instead of playing a rail car, on your turn you have the option to play a special ability card. In this instance, it's a transfer card, and it allows you to move up to 3 pawns from any one train to any other train that's actually in the station. You can even move your own passengers. So if there's a train that's actually being loaded up with a bunch of negative cars and you want off that train, you can absolutely move yourself if you have this particular card. Now, You may also want to add one of your passengers to a full train, and you can do that with standing room. Or you possibly may want to move one rail car to another train, and you can do that with the reassign card. You can also send a train off before it's actually full by actually putting the caboose on the train. And then you can even remove 2 rail cars from the end of the train and move them to other trains. Or sometimes you actually just pull them out of off the board altogether. And using that uncouple really changes up the way a train may be scored when it's about ready to leave the station. So exciting stuff. Playing Station Master, remember, it's all new art, all upgraded components, new mechanics that entertains 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, plays in 30 to 50 minutes. It's a $25 retail, and it's just a ton of fun. So that's Station Master. Again, look for that this month. It should be shipping within the next week and a half if everything goes right. So a sneak peek. How about what's coming to us in 2021? The first game I'd like to talk to you about was designed by our friend Chris Leader, the gentleman who is actually answering a bunch of things in the YouTube chat right now. It's the same guy that did Roll for It, and as I mentioned earlier, he is our director of fun. So the game that he designed is actually called Mass Transit. It's going to be a $15 cooperative game for 1 to 6 players, and it plays in about 20 minutes. So this game solves everything that I don't care for in cooperative games. The dominant player syndrome, where that one player wants to direct everyone else on how to play their turn. Well, in Mass Transit, all the players are engineers working for the city to build a transit system that efficiently gets commuters home from the city to the suburbs. However, you're fighting the bureaucracy and the red tape. In other words, you can't talk to other players about the cards that you have in your hands or what you're planning to do on your turn. Fighting bureaucracy has never been as much fun as what Mass Transit offers. So another game that we have coming in 2021 is Enchanted Plumes. Enchanted Plumes was designed by Brendan Hansen, and it's illustrated by my good friend Echo Chernik. It's a set collection game where players are constructing the trains of enchanted peacocks. The deck is constructed of 10 different colored plumes, ranging in a value of 0 to 9. Players will take turns playing cards to construct their peacocks from the top of the tail down to the bottom. So you're building an inverted triangle of cards. The top row always will host the largest number of cards. So let's say, for instance, the top row has 4 cards in it. Each consecutive row must be 1 card smaller than the row above it, and it can only contain the colors that appear in the previous row. So the 4 cards as a completed peacock would result in 4 cards at the top, then 3 cards, 2, down to the single 1 card as the body of the peacock. Now here's the trick. The top row of 4 cards are scored as a negative. The remaining cards are scored as a positive. The player with the highest valued peacock train will win the game. This is an incredible amount of fun, and it's all available for $15 in a small travel size box. Very similar to the same size of box as Roll for It. And I may add that Mass Transit is packaged the same way, same size box. The last game I'd like to talk to you about was designed by my nephew, Zach Weissman, and it's called Allegory. And Allegory is a bidding game of lore and hidden strategies. The objective of this game is to construct 3 tales of 3 different themes with hidden morals. Each tale will have a value, but you'll only get to score the lowest of the 3 tales that you build. You'll be placing bids on cards, which are your actual themes, and but you won't get to keep the money that you actually bid or won the bid with. Um, when you fold, you'll actually be earning more lore or more money, and you'll also be able to grab theme cards to build your tales with. So the whole game, the art itself, the actual strategies in the game, the stories that you're trying to tell, it's all an allegory. So how about our show special for the Alliance Open House? And this is something that we want to do to actually encourage you to do a number of things. One, to bring in Station Master, but also we really want to thank you for participating in this event and joining us here today. So the show special is buy 6 of the standard CLP 139. And again, you want to make sure that you put that dash OH20 after the part numbers for the show special. You'll get a 5% discount, right? In addition to that, you will receive 1 free copy of the Station Master Deluxe version of the game while supplies last. Now, this particular offering of the game will not be made available in retail. This was something that we did as part of the Kickstarter. However, with this particular event, you will be able to get 1 for your store when you purchase the 6, and you get that additional 5% off too. So thank you very much. We really, really appreciate you joining us, and we look forward to speaking with you on the Discord channel. And please come by and say hi to both Risa and Chris. And again, we sincerely appreciate you joining, and have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, I'm also happy to answer those for you.